All right, we are off and rolling. So we are at the beginning of 2020, and that's an exciting moment if you take a moment to think about it. We have a whole decade ahead of us. And where will you be at the end of that decade? I want you to just take a moment and think, because if you don't design this next decade, it's just going to pass you by, and it's just going to be more of the same, more of the same. And the other opportunity is we could design what's coming in this next decade. You could write your own script. You could actually grab hold of the rudder of your big old ship, because your ship's moving. You've got engine and you've got fuel in the tank. You might as well determine where that boat's going to be going. Okay? The wind will blow, but we'll use the wind to move us ahead. So have you taken the opportunity to design 2020? Sometimes we think about what we're going to do for the next week or the next month or maybe the next contest. But what is 2020 going to look like? How will life be more of what you already have or different than what you already have? What things do you want to experience that you have not experienced? And I'm saying the same thing over and over now for the last 2 minutes, but I want to say it long enough that hopefully it might sink in. If we don't grab a hold of the ship and steer it, somebody else will. We'll be on somebody else's cruise, going to somebody else's destinations, as opposed to where we would like to be. And with that in mind, I also want you to think about, I heard a saying once that was kind of fun. It was called, do it big or stay in bed. Do it big or stay in bed. I really believe a lot in the humans being more philosophy. That philosophy that each and every one of you have an absolutely amazing, innate set of gifts. And that when you access that set of gifts and allow it to go unfettered and fuel it, give it some energy, that there are some absolutely phenomenal, amazing things that can be accomplished. And that's one of the things that drew me to Nikken. The idea that Mr. Masuda believed in you. He believed in us. He believed in me. He believed, who would believe in me? I don't know if you've ever thought of that in your own life, been in a spot where maybe you've been kicked or down or whatever it is, but he believes in each one of us and our ability to really make a difference. And do you want to make a difference? Do you really, really, really want to make a difference? I am really excited that you're all here today. This is predominantly a call from my own team. I've opened it up to a few people who've participated in the product calls that I've done for Bringing Wellness Home on Thursday. But I'm stoked for 2020, because this is the start of something special. It is the start of a new decade. And there's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot of wonderful innovations, a lot of great advancements, a lot of things that have transformed our lives and will continue to transform our lives, our beliefs, and our values. Now the question is will we let other people in 2020 transform our lives or our people or our values, or are we going to be part of that force transforming other people's lives, beliefs, and values? Those who sit on the sidelines will be buried by all the noise and simply become a sideshow for someone else's circus. It's time, I believe, that we here in Nikken really grab a hold of the reins and help the world understand the value of the show that we have to share. Now, there's some things happening. You may or may not have heard about it, and so I want to help to bring people up to speed. Network marketing is going through some radical transformations. We know that Amway forged the way for a lot of people in network marketing, and they had to fight some court battles along the way. Well, most recently, the FTC has engaged 4 companies. If you go back 4 years ago, we had Vima, And we also had Herbalife, and over hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements. And there were challenges in those areas where people were making income claims, and there are challenges where people are making product claims. And we cannot promise people an income. We cannot promise people a result on a product. We have amazing products that do transform lives in radical ways, but we can't promise from one person to another what that is. So there's been a plea that's been put out that we make no income claims. If we talk anything that has to do with income, we have to show the sheet that talks about what the average person makes, okay? And we all know that there's a lot of people who will join a gym today, tomorrow, this coming week, who will never use it beyond the month of February. They paid for the year, but they're not going to participate beyond then. And that same thing happens in network marketing. So you've got 80% of the people who plug in who think they're going to do something, say they're going to do something, but they don't participate beyond month 2 or 3. And that goes into a portion of what our incomes are potentially filled out on that sheet. And they just want people to know that there are people who participate that nothing happens for because they don't engage, okay? So if you're ever talking income and the ability to make income with our business, we have to make sure that's attached. The other thing is we got to get really, really good at saying, at not using the words pain, not using the words cure, not saying it got me off my medication. But we can say, I had this challenge and I was on these medications and I did this and this and this, and these were all the problems in my life. And I discovered Nikan, and now I feel fabulous. Fabulous is not a medical claim, okay? We wouldn't go on and say I got off of my medications. The people listening are going to have to fill those blanks in. But more recently, just to put this into perspective, one of the reasons we were brought down to headquarters in December is that there are other companies who are under scrutiny in big ways to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements, okay? One company that decided instead of fighting the battle, they're just going to give up network marketing all the way. They're done. They shut their doors and are no longer doing network marketing. Another one that's decided to fight, but it's going to cost them dearly to fight the FTC and to let them know that this form of business is truly okay and what they're doing is truly okay and that this is not an illegal pyramid scheme. We know that. But the crazy thing is that in today's world, and I don't know if it's because of social media or what, but someone barks and says, I've been wronged, and you're arrested before there's even a trial or a lawsuit. And literally that's what happened with Vima. Vima, 4 years ago, their assets, their bank accounts were seized before they even knew they were being sued. Okay? And Nikan does not want to be in that position. We don't believe that we're in that position, but we want all of our consultants to operate above board so that we don't end up in that position. Okay? So no medical claims and no income claims without showing that sheet, and that helps to protect us in big, big, big ways. So please, please keep that in mind. Now, what I want to do is say that there are some really exciting things going on, and I'm going to have this call next week for everybody who wants to engage. But I have a challenge for you for next week. You have the new year coming up, and you have the idea of these New Year's resolutions, and you have a new decade coming up. I want you to sit down and put pencil and paper, real thought into where you want to be in 10 years and what you want to get done this year, and a business plan behind that. Where you want to be in 10 years, what you want to get done this year, and a business plan beside that. And in addition, I want you to bring one new person to this call next week, okay? If you're going to participate, you get on the dial and you bring at least one new person who wants to engage and make 2020 an absolutely phenomenal decade, okay? So grunt, nod your head, wave if you agree and understand, and say, yeah, that sounds like a good thing. Okay, great. So we've got that in place. So if you don't know, there are some phenomenal incentives in place. And one of those incentives has been running for November and December and will continue on in January. Barbara Bertucci, hold up your cup. It says, I love New York on it. And I hope we all decide that, hey, a free trip to New York sounds like a really great thing. If you have not gone to Niken's Information Center and looked at the contest that's in place, where you get travel bonus points, convention points that are not part of Team Kaizen. I have a lot of people who gave up on Team Kaizen because they missed 1 month's qualification. Well, the good news is the company made another way for us to get there. And that in the Information Center has all the details for there. You got a bunch of customers on board, and poof, you would be there. Now, let me see if I can share my screen. My team has this document just barely emailed to them last week, the week before, and again today. And let me see, it's not allowing me to bring this up. Just a minute. Boom. And let me see if it will redo it for me. I'm going to have to shut it down and reopen it, I'm afraid. This document is a tracking option.
Brody, while you're bringing it up, I'm going to just share
Please.
That I touched with someone a while back that was a distributor, and for some reason they fell off the computer. They're not on my system. They're not in the customer base. It must have been a while ago. Let's just put it that way. It was a while ago. Anyway, I can sign her up as a customer, and we had a conversation a bit about the consultant. But for right now, I'm going to sign her up as a consultant. She wants a grounding pad. We talked about her filters and everything, which she just got about 2 months ago. But anyway, the grounding pad's going to get her in my system as a new, and I just said, hey, I'm working on a contest. You know, can I just sign you up as a customer and put your order in there? And she's like, sure, you know, whatever you need. So I'm looking at least, you know, I mean, not at least, but for right now, getting 10 people in at the $100 will give you 10,000 points. That gets you, if I'm not mistaken, your tickets and the, it's either the airfare or the hotel. I think it's the airfare. So you just, and then 30,000 gets you more, but at least your customer base will bring you 1,000 per new customer and with $100 order or more.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just brought someone new on board. And we actually put their first order in as a customer. So
right,
1,000 points for them being a customer. And then we put their second order in as being a distributor. So I got another 500 points for them being a distributor because they decided a couple days later, yep, I want to engage. So there's 1,500 points. Plus everything they order, you get double points for that. So if they order $500 worth of stuff, you get another total of 1,000 points towards the convention. On your screen right now, you should be able to see this little chart that I made. It's got a place for you to put the name of your new consultant or distributor, and you just put a 1 by if it's a customer or 1 by if it's a consultant. It automatically puts in the number of points that you've earned, and you can go back right now and you can still see what happened in November and what's going on in December for what you've signed up new. And then you come down here and you put your volume in for November and you put your volume in for December, and then it doubles the points for it. And then with this contest, if you go from 0 to executive, if you've signed up, actually if you were a direct in November, then you get an extra 2,000 points. They would automatically put it in. So let's say someone went from 0 to gold, which is 18,000 points, and poof, you've got it. Let's say I put that in, a 1 right there, and entered that in. Boom, there's an automatic extra 5,000 points. But they didn't go just 0 to gold. They got executive done. They got silver done. They got executive and silver during the contest period, and they got gold, and they went from direct to gold during the contest period. So all those things filled in. That's an extra 17,000 points towards the contest. Woohoo! So neat things that are going on there.
You get that and they get that, or just they?
It all stacks up. It all stacks up.
On yours as well, because you
No. This is if it was, I'm filling it in as if I had been a direct and went to gold, okay? But this little spreadsheet, if you want access to it and you're cross-line, go ahead and email me and I'll get it to you so you can fill it out. But literally with this contest, if you got 50 new customers on board, poof, you've won the event. 50 customers who get a $100 order. And the beauty of this is you can double dip. This coming month of January, anybody that you sign up starting Wednesday through the end of January counts for this contest and next year's contest. And one of the cool things about next year's contest, a Mediterranean cruise. So I don't know about you, but a free cruise with free airfare, all the food paid for, all that good stuff. I'm excited. So the month of January, guys, you want to rock and roll like you have not rock and rolled in years or decades or whatever it's been. It is time to pull out the stops and make January an absolutely huge, huge month. So let me stop sharing that, and I want to pull up the incentives if I can find them behind this array of stuff. Just a moment. There it is, and let me share it. Just a moment. Boom, boom. All right, you should be able to see now. I'm hoping. Does it say incentive program on your screens? Wave something?
Mine says eBay and Facebook. You had it, but then it got covered over.
I don't want that. Where, oh, where, oh, where? Just a minute. Let's try another one. Share.
You did have it before it switched over.
American, here it is. How's that?
Yes.
Sweet. So, folks, I'm going to do my best to give you an overview of this. It's a big, big deal. Our incentives, there's a stair-step view of our incentive program for the coming year. And we no longer have a couple things that we used to have. We don't have the Entrepreneurs Club, gone. There are a couple incentives that aren't there anymore. What we have is on this chart, okay? We have the Power Start, which is for someone that you just sign up. And again, this is for the year of 2020. And the Power Start is for people who go from direct to executive in their first month. Then we have Club Ki, Pro, Team Kaizen, Team Tai Chi, and the Lifestyle Bonus. And I'm going to give a quick overview. You may want to get your clipping feature out where you can take a screenshot to be able to make sure that you grab this. But the Power Start bonus is set up for people who 30 days from the start of sign up, they achieve their first 1,500 in volume. And new this year for all these contests is that 50% of the volume will need to come from retail. Okay? But there's something new and exciting about this volume. It used to be that, let's say I bought something at $100 worth of wholesale and the retail price was $125. I sold it for $125. I get the $25 of retail, and that was my bonus. But my points were only 100 points towards rank or towards contests or any of that. Well, starting January 1st, if the person purchases it for $125 and they pay retail, we get 125 points towards rank. Okay, so that's like a 20% increase in all of the volume that we have for those. That is a big, big deal. Okay, most people now have roughly 40% of their volume coming from retail. So that's going to be an extra boost, and most people will automatically be able to match what this requirement is. But they are asking that at least 50% of the volume towards a Power Start is from a retail purchase, okay? And that can be from someone who's a registered customer, or it can be when you go in your back office and there's a button on the top left that says, do you want this to be a wholesale purchase or a retail purchase? If you click retail, poof, it is a retail purchase. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this. It's silly that I didn't know this. It's silly that I didn't go through and do it. But many of you know that your customers get a 25% discount on their auto ship. if you go in and you punch in and do your own auto ship as a retail auto ship, you're going to pay less for it after the discounts than you're currently paying for it as a wholesale auto ship. Okay? So there's some retail points for you. You're going to get more points because of the retail points that are there. And in addition, it'll help you get towards these incentives better, and you'll pay less for them. Now, check-wise, doesn't make a difference in that. You're going to get the retail extra that you paid. That'll come back to you anyway, but you will have more points long-term. So maybe something you want to convert over is your auto ships into a retail auto ship. So back here to the Power Start, it does require 50% of your volume be at retail. And the people who get the Power Start will get 100 Nikken reward points, and they'll get recognition for that. Next is Club Ki. There are, these run by quarter, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So each quarter you could qualify for Club Ki. And the winning people of Club Ki get an extra 500 Nikken reward points. There's a free air system for somebody. They can earn an air system for their home for free. Maybe I encourage you to purchase your first one, and you want an extra one for your living room, an extra one for your bedroom, earn it with a Club Ki. But you can also take those points and get the product and then sell it, and then poof, there's an extra $750, pardon me, $600, roughly $650 in earnings that you can have by getting those products for free. The requirements are that you have at least 1,200 in PPV, okay, during that time period, and 12,000 in group volume, combined through January, February, March, okay? 12,000 in group volume, you get that, you get the 500 Nikken reward points. And you can earn this first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. So there's an opportunity for $2,000 worth of Nikken products that you could have for yourself, or sell them, or use them for incentives, or use them for giveaways at your events, however you want to do those. Next is Club Ki Pro. Again, it's by quarter. So 4 quarters in the year, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, etc. And the requirements on there are that you do 4,000 in personal point volume in a quarter, okay? So that's 4,000 in retail sales that could be on there that you have, or some of your own consumption that's there, but 4,000 in personal point volume, and at least 500 of that, you have to have at least 500 PPV in each month. So you can't just go do all 4,000 in 1 month of the quarter. So they want some consistency that's in there. And then a total of 40,000 points, at least 50% of that needs to be retail. And a minimum of 6,000 each month. So if you're wanting to get Club Ki Pro, which, by the way, the winners receive a Caribbean cruise. All in favor of a Caribbean cruise? Kind of a cool thing. And I think I've got no, I take that back. I take that back. The winners receive a trip that will have airfare and 3 nights hotel paid somewhere in the U.S. That's what it was. And I don't have the details as yet as to whether that is, my memory is that is a trip of their choice, a destination of their choice, but don't quote me on that. Maybe Nikken determined, but I'm pretty sure it's anywhere in the continental U.S. You get a trip, and it's a trip for 4. So
I believe it's by region, Brody.
Okay, but a trip for 4, and it'll be an opportunity to take some people with you. You could use it as if you earn it, you could use it as an incentive for people in a contest within your own team, or just take your family. So they're doing some things to help get families involved with a portion on here. So next, Team Kaizen, big deal, guys. Grease the skids. This is the one that you can earn a Caribbean cruise. And Team Kaizen is a year-long incentive. Club Ki and Ki Pro are quarterly incentives. And you can't earn Ki and Ki Pro in the same quarter. You choose one or the other, okay? But you could earn those quarter after quarter after quarter, right? Team Kaizen is an annual incentive, and if you look at this, it's just 50,000 in personal group point volume, and Ki Pro is 40,000, so 10,000 more sometime throughout the year, and you've got it. That's a big, big deal. Okay, so they stack on top of each other. So maybe the first quarter you earn Club Ki, and the second quarter Club Ki Pro, and then by then you've probably almost already got Team Kaizen wrapped up and done by having those two taken care of. So look at these and stack them and earn them early on in the year, because in one quarter you can't earn more than one of these. So next is Team Tai Chi, and Team Tai Chi is 80,000 in personal group volume for the whole year. That's the one that is a Mediterranean cruise. And folks, I don't know anybody that would want to turn down a Mediterranean cruise, especially where they're paying the airfare over and back and the cruise, the whole gamut. Big, big deal. So 7-day trip, 7-day cruise. So anyway, big, big deal. I encourage you to look at these when they are published at the first of the year and get your sights set on it. I'm sharing this right now because I want you to think, what can I do to make 2020 the best decade ever? What do I want different for this next decade? And if NECAN is to be a part of that, what better time to engage than right now? Now, there are lots of reasons to engage, and there are lots of reasons for us to be sober about this moment. Okay? I was sobered. In fact, I wanted to cry a couple times when we were at the NECAN event. One of them was when they showed us statistics for Kenzen Vital Balance. And some people say, oh, don't share this information, and I think we all need to know.
Brody, why don't you stop sharing so we can see you?
Okay. In the month of, and I don't know if it was October or November, but there were statistics about the number of KVB bottles that were sold for the month. And it was just over 60, all of North America. I went, no, that's terrible. That's terrible. And so they had a think tank get together at NECAN, and they were looking at, well, what are some of the problems? And some of the challenges are, it doesn't taste good. Now, some people think it tastes great, but some people think doesn't taste good. Okay, well, what do we do about that? Do we get rid of all the good stuff we have in there? Do we put a lot of artificial junk in there? Do we put a lot of things that aren't good for you in? The problem that we have is that in society right now, people are used to garbage and junk, and people aren't used to natural flavors. Sure, they'll have a salad, but then they'll dump all this stuff on it so that you don't even taste the salad anymore. We don't know what good tastes like, okay? That's something you got to explain to your people when you're promoting it, okay? We don't know what good tastes like. NECAN has a little slogan behind KVB right now, and that is, we make it nutritious, you make it delicious. We make it nutritious, you make it delicious, okay? And I'm going to be sharing some formulas next week about how people are making Kenzen Vital Balance delicious. I want you to share, email with me your formula for making Kenzen Vital Balance delicious, and I'm going to share them all with everybody next week. So I'm counting on you right now. One of your assignments, type in how you're making KVB delicious. But it goes beyond that, guys, and you need to understand this in promoting this product. NECAN has said, we will not bend. You don't like the taste? Tough. We've given everything we can to make this the best product for your health, okay? And the product's going to change how it tastes because, and we've had people complain about that. Tough. NECAN will not bend because with every harvest, The alfalfa tastes different. The spirulina tastes different. All the stuff we have in there is going to taste different with every harvest. They're not masking it with a bunch of stuff to hide the flavor. Okay? So let people know as the different batches come in, it's going to taste different because it is all natural. The other thing is that every ingredient you get is premium sourced ingredients. Okay? Nikken is not trying to cut the corner to increase the profit margin. They're not going to go for the least quality ingredient just to say they've got it in there. Sure, we're going to say we've got this ingredient in, but never mind, it was 5 years old and it was harvested with 10,000 gallons of herbicides and pesticides and all the muck that's in there and all the contaminants that can be in there. When we get it premium, okay? We have all the best, write those words down, premium. Write down all the best ingredients. Write down, we make it nutritious, you make it delicious. And write down this next one, no one else is doing it. Nobody else makes a product like KVB, period. And you can rest assured that when you say that, Nikken is not trimming any corners. They are not trying to trim their health costs at your health expense, all right? They're not cutting the margins, all right? This is a totally functional food. It is not there to entertain your taste. It is there to power your brain, power up your gut, power up your life, give you energy, clean you out, and make you feel absolutely fabulous, okay? And they challenged us to have a contest, all right? And that contest is that you, within your own groups, have some sort of maybe it's an eating program, maybe it's a weight loss program, whatever it is, that you have a contest, get people on this product. And right now, guess what? You order 3, you're paying for, you buy 2, you get a third for free. You buy 2, you get a third for what? Free.
That's for the chocolate though, right?
That's right. But you buy 2, you get another one for the third one for free. And you can find it on the information center. And I just encourage you, get on there, get people going. And there's a boatload. How many of you know someone that needs to lose weight? All right. And how many of you may even have a couple extra pounds that have got to go? Okay. So, and the fastest way to do that, 2 shakes a day, get rid of 2 meals, then make the other meal really healthy and fabulous. And I believe I just heard Linda Morris's voice. She has a phenomenal program that you can plug into with that whole thing. I know that Ruth Williams has a program that they've put together for it. Or you can make it just super simple, folks. Tell people to ditch 2 of their meals, get on this, and have a smart meal for their third meal of the day. Don't snack after 7 o'clock at night. You know, however you want to do it. You guys get creative with what you want to do, but have a contest, okay? I'm launching my contest next week, all right? I'm going to encourage you each to get 3 people on this call for next week, all right? That just want to lose weight. 3 people. How many of you this week can find 3 people, all right? And my contest is going to be dirt simple, all right? Dirt simple and lots of flexibility. And they may want to add their own eating program to it. And those of you who are having your own eating program, great. Love it. Encourage it. But I've found that there are people out there who are meativores and people who are herbivores and people who are every different type of restrictions. I don't want to restrict anybody from this. KVB is a universal product. You design your own eating program and plug in, all right? So next week, bring 3. 3 for the contest, 1 who is a business builder who wants to make 2020 an absolutely amazing year. Everyone got it? Okay.
Brody, this is Ruth. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Just real quick, I shared the numbers and I just want to make a correction. It wasn't 60 units of KVB, it was 500 units. 60 units was for the air filter. I just want to clarify.
Thank you. But either way, it was disgraceful.
It was, because the picture that they showed us, 1 unit had 60,000 and one of them had 200,000 units sold.
Yep.
I have the slide. if
So
you
guys,
want.
there are some really great things happening in NECAN. Really great things happening in NECAN. There are some things that can really be improved. And one of the things that happened down there at headquarters is this. We got a much closer feel for the heart of Luis Kasuga, who I believe is extremely aligned with the heart of NECAN that we fell in love with. Okay? And we all have a past, personal past. Some people get stuck in their personal past. I'm too dumb. I'm too slow. I don't have this education. I don't have that. I don't have this degree. I don't have this background. I'm not a, whatever we say we are or aren't. We get stuck in our past, all right? Things happen, okay? Raise your hand if things have happened to you, okay? Raise your hand if you've ever been mentally stumped for something in your life, okay? I can't learn a musical instrument because of this. I can't get this degree because of this. I can't move forward in NECAN because of this. We've all had something that has stumped us, okay? Well, one of the things that was reawakened is that today doesn't have to be yesterday, okay? Today does not have to be yesterday. And I don't know if you know this, but today can never be yesterday. This is a different, we're not in the era of network marketing where you collected orders and a big dump truck showed up to your house, to your garage, and you distributed those orders for the next 3 days to a week. Luckily, network marketing is allowed to deliver directly to people's doorsteps. We're not in the era of cassette tapes and VHSs. We're not in the era of all of our information coming on pieces of, we're in an electronic era, all right? It's a different game. There's a lot of things we have to do that are still familiar from old school, but there are a lot of things that are new. And we have to reinvent ourselves with a new way of looking and a new way of acting, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today. And we're going to work on that with this group, okay? And we're going to find out things that are working for you and things that we need to do to move ahead. What I'm going to do with this is the first part of it, first 15 minutes will be geared towards this little contest we're doing. And then those who are customers, they can drop off, be done. And those who are business builders want to stick on and move ahead, great. Okay? And talk about some business things for moving forward. Remember this week, we make it nutritious, you make it delicious. Have everybody get their orders, have their KVB in hand, and we will launch on Monday of next week. And there's so much more I wanted to cover. There is one thing that I have to cover. Some people's businesses are not where they want them to be. Okay? We all have places we want it to be better. When Luis Kasuga was earned, awarded, some people wouldn't consider it an award, some people would be considering it being put in outer Siberia. When he was given Mexico had gone through a mass, we're talking back in, we'll call it 1999 or 2000, right around that era. Mexico had risen and fallen flat on its face. There was virtually nothing left. It was the worst time to be awarded the position of president of NECAN Mexico, okay? And he still took the position because he believed in humans being more. He believed in the people, and he believed in the ability for people to transcend yesterday and to embrace today to create a new tomorrow, okay? Some people are stuck in tomorrow. I will move ahead when? I'll move ahead when I have an app. I'll move ahead when I have the new this. I'll move ahead when this new product comes out. I'll move ahead when? All right? I'll move ahead when my remodel's done. I'll move ahead when the perfect distributor joins my team. I don't, whatever it is. There's choices to be made, folks. Do you want to claim 2020 and make it the absolute best decade ever? because there's going to be miracles taking place in 2020. There's going to be people out there who are trying to shape our lives. Or we can allow Nikan to shape the world, and we can be a part of it. I've made a decision I'm going to be a part of it, not in a little way, but a big way. And I hope that many of you have seen the value and believe that Nikan deserves to be out there in a big, big way. So if that's true for you, the beauty that finished the story is that Luis Kasuga believed in the individual. He didn't believe that a compensation plan change was going to fix something. He didn't believe that a computer system was going to fix something. He didn't believe that a new piece of marketing material would change something. I believe in you. He believes in you. And if that's the case, and you believe that we're in a right, he's taken Nikan now, not just Mexico, but Nikan South America, Nikan Latin America, South America, Central America, and it has disgraced North America, disgraced Europe, and we have got our tails tucked between our legs. Our pants are getting kicked, and it's time that turns around. How many of you have a neighbor that doesn't know what KVB is? Well, yeah. Why don't we go share it with them this week? And they're all making changes right now to choose better health. They're making it in a huge, huge way. And what I'm going to do with this little 15-minute segment is we're going to include weight loss, but we're going to talk about health in a huge, huge way. Introduce a new little product and talk about why it's good and how it could be added to their wellness home for just a 15-minute health segment, all right? And then we're going to go into those who are interested in business, the business builder segment, immediately after. Customers can drop off, all right? And by the way, the business building segment won't be easy. I'm not going to be nice. Sorry. But I'm going to push your buttons. All right? So you don't have to do this. All right? It's not requisite. We can all do Nikan in our own way. But for those who want to play and play to win and get over themselves, who want to really make something big for this year, sit down and put your New Year's resolutions together, your goals. And then my goal is to help each of you and myself. I'm giving this lecture to myself right now, okay? Because in some ways, I mentally checked out for part of last year. And I recognize that. I'm still in the game, but not fully, all right? And I'm not saying anybody on this call needs to be quitting any job or anything like that. In fact, Luis said, you know what? Keep your job as long as you ever possibly can, all right? But I am saying mentally, all of you in the game. So this week, gather one new person for the business portion of this call and gather 3, that's the target, who are going to be interested in making a big boom, get their KVB ordered so they can start off on Monday. All right? With that, I close. Any questions? You can unmute and ask any questions. Let me end this recording, though, just a minute.